The Lullaby of Willow Creek. The old house stood at the edge of Willow Creek, its timbers groaning with every gust of wind, its windows like tear-filled eyes staring out at the desolate landscape. It wasn't the kind of house that whispered tales of ghosts. It screamed them, and in its very heart resided the most profound sorrow, embodied by a mother's unending grief. Eleanor Vance had moved into the Willow Creek house with her husband, Thomas, and their only child, Lily, a girl with hair the color of spun moonlight and a laugh like wind chimes. They were a family overflowing with love, their days filled with Lily's innocent joy echoing through the rooms. Eleanor, a woman who radiated warmth and kindness, would spend hours in the garden, tending to her roses, while Lily played nearby, often singing little made-up songs. Their world shattered on a crisp autumn afternoon. Lily, barely 6 years old, was playing near the creek, chasing butterflies. Eleanor was inside, preparing their lunch, when a sudden fierce storm swept through. The skies opened, the winds howled, and the peaceful creek transformed into a raging torrent. By the time Eleanor reached the riverbank, her heart a cold, heavy stone in her chest, Lily was gone, swept away by the unforgiving current. They searched for days, weeks, months. The entire village rallied, their faces etched with shared grief. But Lily was never found. Her tiny hand-carved wooden boat, a gift from Thomas, was eventually discovered miles downstream, tangled in reeds. It was the only tangible piece of her left. From that day, the house became a tomb of silence, broken only by Eleanor's quiet sobs. Thomas, unable to bear the constant reminder of their loss, left a year later, promising to return but never did. Eleanor was left alone, a living monument to a love that had been, and a child who was no more. Her once bright eyes now held an ocean of sorrow, and her hair, once golden, had turned prematurely white. The villagers avoided the Willow Creek house, not because they feared Eleanor, but because her sorrow was too profound, too contagious. They saw her, a spectral figure tending her now neglected roses, whispering to the empty air. They heard the faint, mournful lullabies that drifted from her window late at night. Lullabies she used to sing to Lily. But Lily was gone. Eleanor never accepted Lily's death. She believed, with the unshakable faith of a mother's love, that her daughter was still somewhere, perhaps lost, perhaps calling for her. Every night, she would sit by Lily's empty bed, clutching the little wooden boat, and sing the lullabies. Years passed. The house deteriorated, much like Eleanor herself. Her once vibrant spirit had been eroded by relentless grief. She became frail, almost translucent, a wisp of a woman clinging to a ghost. Yet every night, the lullabies continued. One particularly cold winter evening, a young couple, lost on a winding country road, saw the faint glow of a lamp in the distance. Desperate for warmth and shelter, they ventured towards the Willow Creek house. As they approached, a chillingly beautiful lullaby reached their ears, carried on the frigid wind. It was a sound that seemed to pull at the very fabric of their souls. They knocked on the decrepit door. It creaked open slowly, revealing Eleanor, her face a tapestry of age and sorrow, her eyes holding an ancient, bottomless pain. She didn't look surprised to see them, just weary. "Come in, children," she whispered, her voice like rustling dry leaves. "It's cold out." Inside, the house was sparse but impeccably clean. Lily's room, however, was untouched, a shrine to a lost childhood. A small, neatly made bed, a doll sitting patiently on a tiny chair, and on the bedside table, a half-finished children's book. The air in that room was thick with a palpable sadness. The couple, Clara and Ben, felt an overwhelming empathy for the old woman. They stayed the night, listening to Eleanor's stories of Lily, her voice imbued with a heartbreaking tenderness. As the hours passed, Clara noticed something unsettling. Sometimes, when Eleanor spoke of Lily, a faint, sweet aroma of roses would fill the room, even though it was winter. And once, she swore she heard a tiny, almost inaudible giggle just beyond Eleanor's shoulder. That night, Clara couldn't sleep. The lullaby started again, soft and haunting. It emanated from Lily's room. Clara, drawn by an irresistible pull, crept out of bed and tiptoed towards the open door of Lily's room. What she saw there froze her blood, yet broke her heart. Eleanor was sitting by Lily's bed, gently rocking the empty wooden boat in her arms. Her eyes were closed, tears silently tracing paths down her wrinkled cheeks as she hummed the lullaby. And then, for a fleeting moment, Clara saw it. A shimmering, translucent outline of a small child, nestled in Eleanor's arms, its head resting on her shoulder. The child's form was almost invisible, but its presence was undeniable. It was listening to the lullaby, a faint, contented smile on its ethereal face. Clara gasped a tiny sound, but Eleanor's eyes snapped open. The spectral child vanished instantly, like mist in the morning sun. Eleanor looked at Clara, her eyes wide, a flicker of something akin to fear, but mostly an intense sorrow. She didn't say anything, but her gaze conveyed a silent plea. "You saw her, didn't you? My Lily. She comes to me when I sing." Overwhelmed, Clara stumbled back to Ben, waking him with her quiet sobs. They left the next morning, leaving Eleanor alone once more with her precious, sorrowful secret. Weeks later, a severe blizzard hit Willow Creek. The village was cut off, and no one could reach the old house. When the snow finally cleared, a few brave villagers ventured to check on Eleanor. They found her in Lily's room, lying peacefully on Lily's small bed, the little wooden boat clutched to her chest. A faint, sweet scent of roses lingered in the air, even in the freezing room. Eleanor was gone. Her face in death held a serene, almost joyful expression, a peace that had eluded her for decades. It was as if a great burden had been lifted. The house was eventually boarded up, but the villagers say that on clear, quiet nights, if you listen very closely, carried on the gentle breeze from Willow Creek, you can still hear the faint, beautiful lullaby. It's no longer mournful, but soft and comforting, as if a mother is finally singing her child to sleep. And this time, the child is truly there, finally at peace in her loving embrace. And sometimes they whisper. You might even hear a tiny, happy giggle carried on the wind, a sound that makes your eyes well up with bittersweet tears. I hope this story evoked the emotions you were looking for.